Hey everyone, this chapter we look at the unemployment rate, and I know this chapter really applies for what we are going through these days with a lot of people unemployed in the US economy. So, I'm going to define the unemployment rate, look at the types of unemployment, look at the causes of unemployment both in the short run and the long run. I know being unemployed is really stressful. It causes financial stress as well as there are human costs of unemployment. Now, if we look at the slide here, I just wrote down BLS. By BLS, I mean the Bureau of Labor Statistics. These guys are responsible for calculating unemployment rate for the US economy. They are dividing the people into people who are 16 years or older and people who are less than 16 years. Out of the people who are 16 years or older, we have people who are in the labor force and people who are not in the labor force. So the labor force is classified as employed and unemployed. Now, the adult population is definitely gonna be people who are equal to 16 years or more. And the adult population is equal to labor force plus out of labor force. Now, the labor force is definitely this one here, employed and unemployed. By employed, you can be either working part-time or working full-time. And by unemployed, you are not working but actively looking for a job. Now, if you are a student, you are not working and not looking for a job, you are classified to be out of the labor force. Looking into this slide here, unemployment rate is equal to number of people unemployed over the labor force times 100. The labor force is definitely employed plus unemployed, and using this box here, I'm writing down the data. I have the people who are under 16 or institutionalized. These people are not really included when I do any of my calculations. Now I look at the people who are not in labor force and people who are in the labor force. So I can just make the corrections here, like this, not in labor force and people who are in the labor force. These guys, all of them are 16 years or more of age. Now, the labor force is equal to employed plus unemployed. How do we calculate the unemployment rate? I have these people who are unemployed, that's on top. I'm just gonna write down the numbers here from the boxes. So I can say the number of people unemployed is equal to 7.9 million over the number of people employed, can do a happy face here, plus number of people who are unemployed. So employed plus unemployed is a labor force, and if I add this together, I have 157.8 million. So that's what I did here. I took the number of people unemployed over employed plus unemployed. The whole ratio I multiplied times 100. My result is equal to 5%. So I have a pie chart showing me a different example, and I can really calculate my unemployment rate using the numbers in this pie chart. We have some criticisms the way unemployment rate is calculated. Before that, I'm going to talk about hidden unemployment. So we have people who are working part-time or doing temporary jobs to pay bills, and they are looking for full-time jobs or permanent work. Even though they are employed part-time, they are still calculated as employed. Then we have people who are underemployed. They are still calculated as employed. That means probably you have a PhD and you are working maybe as a clerk or a secretary, and you are working in a job that is below your skills. If you do that, you are definitely underemployed but still employed. Discouraged workers. We have people who looked for work in the past. They could not find work. They are so much discouraged, they stopped looking for jobs altogether. These people are definitely not counted as unemployed. Rather, discouraged workers are counted out of the labor force. This is one of the criticisms of unemployment rate calculation, and also including part-time workers as full-time is another criticism of the unemployment rate calculation. Now let's look at the labor force participation rate. This is equal to total labor force over total adult population times 100. Total labor force is employed plus unemployed. Total adult population is labor force plus not in labor force. We multiply this times 100. So here is all the calculations of unemployment rate and the labor force participation rate. We look into the types of unemployment in the next slide. Thank you very much.